I'm not supposed to be telling this story. The Egyptian government made sure of that. Everyone who was there either vanished or signed things we didn't understand. But after what I saw, what I heard, I don't care anymore. They can try to silence me. But the truth is already echoing. I was part of a private archaeological expedition, funded by a man named Carlyle, an eccentric billionaire with too much money and an obsession with lost civilizations. He had this theory that the Great Pyramid was more than a tomb, more than a monument. He believed it was a machine, not metaphorically, a literal machine meant for something ancient, something alien. The other archaeologists dismissed him. I didn't, because I'd seen what was found last year. They uncovered a sealed shaft beneath the king's chamber, one that wasn't on any blueprint, no record, no mention in 5,000 years of text, and someone had gone to extreme lengths to hide it. We descended at night. No press, no cameras, just 5 of us, Carlyle, me, a translator named Layla, and 2 silent men he called security. The shaft was narrow and steep. The deeper we went, the older the stone looked, less carved, more grown, like the rock itself had melted into place. It took us 3 hours to reach the bottom. What we found wasn't a room. It was a door, not stone, not wood, something metallic, cold and humming slightly, like it was breathing. And in the center, carved in a language none of us knew, were symbols that made the translator turn pale. "They're not Egyptian," she whispered. Carlyle touched the door. It opened, not with a sound, just a pull, like gravity inverted for a moment. Inside was darkness, but not empty. It wasn't a chamber, it was a corridor, sloping down, impossibly far. The air was wrong, thick, vibrating slightly, like we'd entered a different pressure system. And then the smell hit us. Not death, not rot, old, wet, metallic, like blood and ozone. The corridor walls pulsed faintly under our flashlights, not moving exactly, but glistening, like something was awake. We moved forward. The deeper we went, the more our lights flickered. Carlyle was ecstatic, muttering about forgotten dynasties and pre-human gods. Layla stopped talking. Then the hallway opened into a vast, circular chamber. At the center was a pit, and hanging over that pit, suspended by cables made of a black material I still can't identify, was a sarcophagus, floating, without support, covered in carvings that moved when you looked too long. Carlyle approached it. "Don't," I said. I didn't know why. Just didn't feel right. But he was already reaching for the lid. The moment his fingers touched it, the chamber shook, and we heard the voice. It didn't come from the pit. It came from inside our heads. One must watch. One must dream. One must feed. Layla collapsed, bleeding from her nose. One of the guards screamed and fired his gun into the pit. The echo didn't come back. Carlyle opened the sarcophagus, and there was nothing inside. No body, no bones, just a hole. A black, endless void that seemed to suck the light from the chamber. Carlyle leaned in. I tried to pull him back, but he smiled. "It's been waiting." And then he jumped. The cables snapped. The sarcophagus fell into the pit, and the entire pyramid shook from the inside. We ran. Only Layla and I made it back to the surface. The others, I don't know. I never saw them again. The government sealed the shaft that night, cemented it, buried it, denied it ever existed. But I know what I saw. I've had dreams every night since, always the same. A giant eye opening beneath sand, watching me. And a whisper, not in words, but in hunger. The pyramids weren't built for the dead. They were built to contain. And now, something's missing. At first, I thought it was just me. Little things felt off. My reflection blinked when I didn't. The air in my apartment felt thinner, like I was a few feet higher than I should be. The ticking of my wall clock skipped beats, but only when I looked away. Then I noticed the people, smiling too long, holding eye contact for just a second too much. The barista at the cafe asked me, "Still dreaming?" instead of "still cream." And when I didn't answer, she leaned in and whispered, "It's waking up now. I haven't slept in 3 days. Layla's missing." I tried calling her. Her number disconnected. When I went to her apartment, someone else answered. A man. He told me there's never been a Layla here. He shut the door before I could answer. But through the window behind him, I saw her coat hanging by the door. I went back to the research logs, desperate to find proof of what we saw, something, anything. But the photos were corrupted. Video footage glitched out past the 3-hour mark, as if the files had been scrubbed by something that knew what it was looking for. Even the paper journal Carlyle kept, handwritten, had warped pages like they'd been wet and dried under pressure. Only one page was still legible. It read, "The sarcophagus wasn't empty. It was a mouth. That was 2 nights ago. Since then, I've heard something beneath my floorboards. Not rats, not plumbing. Breathing. Slow, heavy. Timed with the ancient rhythms of something older than time. And when I turned on the radio last night, every station was static, except one. It played a voice. Mine. Repeating the same phrase over and over. One must watch. One must dream. One must feed. I think Carlyle was right. The pyramid isn't a tomb. It's not even a prison. It's a signal tower. And now that the sarcophagus is gone, that signal is spreading. Through voices, through images, through memory. And it's looking for something. Or maybe someone. Because each night, the dreams come closer. Each time I close my eyes, I'm not asleep anymore. I'm there, back in the chamber. And something is rising from the pit. Tall, thin, no face, only teeth. I think it wants me to go back. Not to silence it, but to become part of it. And the worst part, I think I already have. Because this morning, I found sand in my bed. And my hands were wrapped in black cable. They were still warm. Not like rubber, not like something synthetic. These cables felt organic, like veins. They pulsed faintly in my hands before crumbling into black ash that smelled like copper and old stone. That's when I noticed the symbols, etched lightly along my wrists, barely visible in daylight, but glowing a dull red when the lights went out. I tried scrubbing them off. I even burned one with a lighter. The skin healed before my eyes. I started hearing footsteps under the floor again last night. Only this time they didn't stay below. At 3:12 a.m., the same time the door opened under the pyramid, something knocked on my bedroom door. 3 times. Slow, deliberate. I live alone. When I opened the door, nothing was there, except my phone. It was lying on the floor, unlocked, recording. I played the file. It was just breathing, not mine, not human. Wet, distorted gas, like lungs filled with sand. And over it all, faint whispers in a language I still don't understand. But I'm starting to recognize the rhythm. It matches the symbols on my arms. I translated what I could. It said, the first was a gate. The second is a voice. You are the third. Today I passed a mirror downtown. I didn't see my own face. It looked like me, same clothes, same posture. but the eyes were hollow, pitch black, no reflection behind them. The smile didn't match. It wasn't mirroring me anymore. It was watching. I tried checking into a hospital. They wouldn't admit me. When they scanned my ID, the nurse looked at me strange and said, "We have no record of you ever being born." They escorted me out. I heard her whisper as I left, "He's marked." Just like the others. What others? Where did they go? Why don't I remember my last name anymore? Why are there now 3 missed calls every night from unknown number? And why does my own voice answer when I pick up? I'm not sure how much time I have left. I've started blacking out, losing hours. I wake up standing in strange places. This morning, I woke up beneath a sand dune. My mouth was full of grit and my arms were buried up to the elbows, like I had crawled out. And there, scrawled in the sand, were the words, "Finish what you started. If you're hearing this, stay away from the pyramids, from the pit, from the mouth beneath the stone. Because I think it's already above now, and it's hungry."